All right, guys, happy Tuesday. I usually don't shoot on a Tuesday. I usually go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, but got inspired to make a video today, have a little presentation. So today we're going to talk about the evolution of money from beginning to end. So let's get right into it. Hopefully I can go through the slides pretty quickly. So let me share my screen. All right. I think we hit play. Oops. You know what? I won't do that. I'll just go through it. All right. So yeah, the evolution of money. So money started, if we go to the first slide, money started with the barter system. So if we read the definition, it says barter system in ancient times, people exchanged goods and services directly, but this system had limitations due to the lack of a common measure of value and the difficulty in finding mutually agreeable exchanges. And this makes sense, right? And the whole purpose of this presentation is just to show you that from the beginning, you needed money to get around. So it's no different now. So with this barter system, what they're basically saying is you had two items, right? So I have a microphone and then I have a mouse, and I say, okay, well, I need a microphone and you need a mouse. Let's do some exchanging, right? You give me you give me the microphone and then I give you the mouse, right? But the problem with the barter system is that, this microphone cost me a lot more than this mouse. So you would get a lot of unequal exchange when the barter system was present, right? So, and you still have that today. Like I'm not sure. Maybe you could do it on OfferUp or maybe eBay or maybe peer to peer, where you say, okay, I have this item and I want you to, I want to exchange. Are you willing? Do we agree that these two items have the same amount of value, and I don't mind exchanging, my item for your item, essentially. Right. So that was number one. That was ancient times, probably hundreds, thousands of years ago. But you still see it today. You still see kind of like the barter system today, just not on a big scale. Maybe you can work a deal out in a garage sale or something like that. But yeah, it's still here today, but not used as commonly. All right, commodity money. What is commodity money? Commodity money, to solve the issues with barter, the barter system that we just talked about, societies began using commodities like cattle, grains, or precious metal, gold and silver, as a medium of exchange. This has intrinsic value and were widely accepted. Right. So it was like a combination of animals, grains, precious metals like gold and silver, and it was similar to the so it says solve the issues with barter. Societies began as a medium of exchange. I'm not sure how this differs from the barter system, and maybe, and if we go back to the barter system. So it's mutually agreeable. Okay, I guess how this differs from the barter system is that you didn't really know if you were exchanging something for equal value, where the commodity money, maybe, precious metals and grains were kind of deemed like equal in value with one another, right? So maybe it was a little bit closer in value range, where barter system, you kind of just were exchanging for stuff you just agreed upon, and you could potentially be giving more value to that person and they would be getting less, or vice versa, right? So that was the commodity money system, and this included gold and silver. All right, and I could see that too, because gold is a lot more valuable now. So if you were giving somebody gold for, let's just say, a cattle, you probably, back then maybe it didn't matter, but now if you did that exchange, you'd be losing out on some money, right? Because gold is worth a lot. All right, so the next one on the list is metallic money. So this was like kind of part of the last one, commodity money, but this one is solely metallic money. So we got away from just exchanging random items for other items, and then we got away from exchanging grains, cattle, and then we're going just into gold, silver, and copper. So let's read. It says metallic money over time. Metal coins made of gold, silver, or copper became standard forms of money. Coins were durable, portable, and could be standardized into terms of weight and value, making trade easier. So yeah, so they transition out of the commodities because it's hard to, if you were trying to exchange a cattle or some type of animal, it's not the easiest way to transfer value, right? Where with coins, you could say, okay, this one weighs a lot more, this one weighs a lot less. This piece of metal you can use in a lot more products to make a lot more items, so it might be worth a lot more. And portability, right? You're able to take coins, right? If you make it into coins, yeah, you can take those things a lot farther than like a cow or a chicken, right? So yeah, so and then the weight too, right? The more it weighed, the more value it had. So yeah, and this is kind of and it's still used today, right? People still trade metals. It's a lot less likely. It's more of metals today are traded on like exchanges, and it's more behind the scenes where you have the metals stored somewhere, and then you kind of just change ownership through like signing paperwork and things like that. But not a lot of trading of the gold. All right, paper money. Now, paper money, is fairly recent. It's different from fiat, and we'll get into that. But as economies grew, carrying large amounts of metal became impractical. Governments and banks began issuing paper money, which represented a claim to a certain amount of metal, gold standard. Paper money was more convenient for large transactions. So basically, we went to paper money and we said, okay, you have this amount of gold stashed for this amount of paper money. So it was backed 1-to-1. It's not like today where it's like we just keep printing money and your money is really not backed by anything. The good faith of the US or whatever country you're in, but it's not something where you're not just printing money. Paper money was actually backed by gold, right? And that's where the gold standard came from. You had a piece of paper worth $10, and there was $10 worth of gold somewhere that backed that piece of paper up, and you wouldn't create more paper money if there wasn't gold to back it up. But obviously, we've gotten into inflation, so that's not the case anymore, right? So that's paper money. Now, fiat money. Fiat money is kind of what you see today, right? The government prints money. Let's read the definition. It says fiat money in the 20th century. Most countries moved away from the gold standard. Fiat money, which has no intrinsic value and is not backed by physical commodities, became the norm. Its value is derived from government decree and the trust of the people using it. So that's true. The U.S. dollar is the most trusted paper, fiat money. And who knows if that's going to change. We do print a lot of money. We are in a lot of debt. And I think that's what has gotten us into the trouble, the debt that we're in now. And a lot of people are trying to move towards different types of currency, or at least hold most of their net worth in gold or something that's somewhat limited in supply. And we'll get to the last one. To that way they can preserve their value and they're not worrying about the government printing money and their money getting inflated essentially. But that's kind of where we're at now. Fiat money, paper money, it's kind of the same thing, but again, it's not back to back. It's not backed by anything, but besides the good faith of the U.S., and I speak for the U.S. because I'm in the U.S., and barter system, like we saw before, people still kind of do that, but that's not how we operate. Metallic, really not how we operate. It's kind of hard to lug around metals and things like that. And what was the metallic commodity? Okay, like grains, precious metals was kind of the same thing with metallic, but it's a combination of both. All right, so the last one on the list is digital money. This one, very interested in. Basically, the crypto world, digital money. With the rise of technology, digital forms of money have emerged, including bank accounts, credit cards, and online payment systems. More recently, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin have introduced decentralized digital money systems based on blockchain technology. So they include bank accounts, credit cards, and online payment systems. But, that's kind of the same like fiat, right? Because that's just, your money on a ledger at your bank, right? But it's still fiat. It's still getting inflated when the government prints money and things like that. It still loses value when things go up in price. So, but the latter, Bitcoin, and cryptocurrencies, those are limited in supply. For the most, Bitcoin is, right? There's other cryptocurrencies that don't have a limited supply. And most people would say, oh, well, you could just keep creating more cryptocurrencies, which is true. There's thousands of cryptocurrencies out there now, but they're their own ecosystem. So when you go into the Bitcoin ecosystem, there's only 21 million Bitcoin, right? So that's very limited, and that's what makes it scarce, and that's what makes the value go up. So Bitcoin has introduced decentralized, and again, decentralization. You need miners to validate the blocks on the blockchain to make sure that transactions are actually valid, right? Validate transactions. So yeah, digital money, I think, is where we're going in the future. Where we're at now, I think that's going to be the new wave. Who knows if the dollar is still going to be the sole currency, the fiat currency that stays number one. I think we're moving to where Bitcoin may be the reserve global currency because we see the ETFs getting approved. We see, multiple ETFs getting approved, but a lot of big corporations are adopting BTC. And I think digital money is probably going to be the way to go. Now, time will tell. There's a lot of stuff coming out like quantum computing that's saying that could break the Bitcoin code and things like that. But who knows? But yeah, so let me stop sharing my screen. So yeah, I go over that presentation just to show you that from the beginning, we needed money to survive, right? Whether it was the barter system, whether it was the commodity system, whether it was the metallic, whether it was fiat, paper money, and now digital currencies. You need money to survive. You need money to get around and exchange value. So it's important to, become very familiar with, the new types of money that come out right now, digital currency being one of them, and making sure you know how to make it, right? You know how to transact with it. You know how to grow it and it's not having a love for money, but just knowing since hundreds of years ago, we've always had a money system and you need to learn how to make it and how to transact and how to get more of it so that way you can make your life easier, essentially. But yeah, that's what I wanted to go over today. I usually don't shoot on Tuesday, but I wanted to shoot today just to go over this presentation. I thought it was cool just to see the evolution of money, and it kind of trickles down to like assets as well, right? Assets are backed by money, right? If the corporations have revenue coming in and there's money behind that. And again, right now we're in a fiat dominating society, but we're probably going to get to a place where digital currency that's scarce and maybe get back to that kind of that gold standard that it's going to be called maybe the digital gold standard, but back to where all of our money is backed by some type of digital currency. or maybe, maybe it's a combination of putting gold on the blockchain and saying, okay, well, we have these tokens on the blockchain that are limited, and they're tied to, maybe some gold reserves around the country or something like that. They are coming out with CBDCs, central digital bank currencies. That was a part of the list, but it's kind of the same as digital currency, so I didn't want to add that. But yeah, say all that to say, get familiar with money. Those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are the 6 variations of money that we have seen over the years, over hundreds of years. And I'm pretty sure we're probably gonna have different ones coming in the future. So yeah, just get familiar with them. Make sure you guys go follow me on TikTok, Financial Nutrition, Instagram, Mr. Financial Nutrition. I post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. during the week. And then on Sunday, I post 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. But yep, that's pretty much it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.